Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, the last Gooner Talk before Christmas. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing well. You join us for our preview show. No, we're still not going to avoid the preview show just because Christmas is around the corner. We're going to bring you in all its usual glory as we look ahead to Arsenal's trip to Norwich City on Boxing Day. And to do so, as always for our preview shows, I'm joined by some of our members. First of all, it's Ludwig. How do you, mate? Are you well? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Bit full. Had my first Christmas meal.
Yeah,
so
that's weird, mate.
yeah.
That's weird. Why are you eating Christmas dinners before Christmas?
Too many places to be, too many parents to be, whose houses I need to be at.
Fair enough, mate. I mean, lucky, arguably, to have more than one Christmas dinner, which is
Yeah,
still
that's good.
absolutely
I get a
ridiculous.
bit fat, but yes.
In South Africa, you're in the Southern Hemisphere, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
summer, where you are right now?
Yeah, it's extremely hot. It's like 32 degrees right now.
Yeah,
Quite humid, and it's about like 7 at night. So
yes, it's a strange phenomenon. I know that for obviously yourselves and a lot of our Australian listeners and New Zealand listeners and lots of our South American as well, it's pretty normal. But it just seems so odd to me, like the idea that Christmas is hot. But yeah,
it's completely different to what you always see in movies. Like when you're young, it's like, why isn't our Christmas why isn't there any snow? But yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Zamir joining us from, I believe, what Christmas is meant to look like.
Hey guys, good. Tom, how are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you, mate. Any plans for tomorrow?
No plans for tomorrow, but hopefully, I was supposed to come to the UK actually for the Wolves
really?
game. But
why can I barely see you on your camera? You've got like.
I'll adjust it. Let me. Yeah.
Just poking above your name. See, I mean, Daniel Roberts already giving you criticism in the chat box.
No.
Why do you already have a Spurs background?
Only Dan would know what a Spurs background looks like.
I'm loving it. Rohit's joining us for the first time. Fantastic stuff. How you doing, mate? Are you well? Are you good?
I'm doing well, thanks. And hi to you, hi to the world. And especially on this Christmas Eve, I hope you all heart are full with peace and joy.
Absolutely. Are you Northern or Southern Hemisphere? Normal or weird Christmas? How are we spending it?
It's going to be a quiet Christmas for me. Probably cook a meal tomorrow, have some wine with my wife, watch a Christmassy movie.
Lovely stuff. I mean, it just sounds like perfect way to celebrate Christmas. And wherever you are in the world, people listening in the chat box, hope you have a fantastic day tomorrow. But we have got more important things than Christmas to be discussing. Arsenal Football Club, of course. Ludwig, we play Norwich City away from home. And then in less than 48 hours, we will have another game against Wolves. How do you feel about the scheduling at this time of year?
So...
You still eating that Christmas dinner?
No, I just ate a mint. No, so I don't like the over congestion in this period because like none of the other leagues have this extreme congestion. I don't think it's good for the players, especially in these like with the COVID outbreaks and everything. Now I think just giving them a bit more space would be a lot better because one injury in this time could derail your season if it's one of your key players. So I just don't like. I like watching a lot of football. That's great. Have something to do while I'm on vacation. But other than that, I don't like the congestion. It's just a bit too much, especially for the players.
Yeah, and especially at the moment, of course, as you mentioned, with all of the amount of positive cases that are going down. I mean, Zamir, we've heard today that Norwich themselves have recorded some new positive cases. Rashika, I think, is out because of injury, but also they've had some other players. We don't know who specifically, but do you think that Arsenal have kind of escaped most of it, really? We've had a few, Lokonga, Marie, Chambers, but I mean, Lokonga and Maitland-Niles are both back in training now. We seem to have escaped kind of the bad luck of testing positives and getting positives tests. So how do you feel about, I don't want to use the word legitimacy because it doesn't make the competition illegitimate, but Arsenal do have this advantage right now until there is an outbreak at our club to really take forward these points. How does that make you feel about kind of the competition continuing?
Yeah, I mean, I've said in the Discord repeatedly we should have stopped the Premier League over the festive fixtures. I mean, this just doesn't affect the players; it affects the fans as well coming to the stadium. I agree, some people are vaccinated, but you can still get it if you're vaccinated. You can still spread it if you're vaccinated. And it just made sense to give the medical staff more of a break over the fixtures to be able to manage how many people are getting sick, and it goes beyond football. So, in my opinion, it should have just been stopped over the next couple of weeks and then resumed around the new year, or when the cases went down. In terms of us, being lucky, I feel like our medical staff has put some stringent rules in place, or some rules in place for the players, and seem to be following it. That's why we've quote unquote escaped it so far. No doubt, I assume most of our players will get sick at some point, right? You don't know who has it. Tests are not 100% reliable, but pretty reliable. You most people aren't going to go back into isolation. So I do expect us to have some more issues with our squad. But while we have this a healthy squad, we should be playing them, and hopefully they'll bring on the points for us.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Right here, it's Norwich City are a side that obviously we recorded the most shots against any side this season with 30 when we played them at home. Only scraped through, though, with a 1-0 victory in that game. But things have changed a lot since then. How are you feeling in regards to confidence ahead of the game?
Our 1-0 victory over them, September, our first win after 3 horrible losses. I suppose that was a time when we actually turned around. We got a funny goal, couple of ricochets, and then Auba kind of dribbling it in. Sorry, just scoring it in. And then Norwich has gone through a torrid time themselves. They had to let go of Daniel Farke, of course, quarantine Smith, and I'm feeling very confident, primarily because our record against them is pretty solid. We have kind of played against them. Our last 10 games, if you look at the last 10 games, we have beaten them 7 times. So that kind of speaks volumes. And I don't think that Norwich is a bogey team for us. We normally do score a lot against them. Before the 1-0 victory, we did score 4 past them. And right before that, there was a 2-2 where Auba got a penalty and we basically got a point shared. But in last 10 games, we have scored 20 against them and conceded only 7. So I think we should be feeling pretty confident. It kind of sounds very selfish to be playing a team which might be going through a lot of crazy injuries plus COVID, whereas our team is pretty much full strength and a lot of players coming back. I just hope that when it comes to our team, our COVID outbreak does not coincide with the AFCON as well. So fingers crossed there. Otherwise, feeling quite good about the game.
Yeah, it almost feels like a case of when, not if, with every team at the moment. And fingers crossed, obviously, the restrictions that Arsenal themselves have put in place. And I mean, my colleague Kai Karnak of Football London wrote a piece, I think yesterday, that came out about kind of the restrictions that the club are putting in place themselves about what's going down. So hopefully that does do something. But it does feel like an inevitability that at some point it's going to happen. I feel like there's a lot of discussion that's going to be about kind of the players in which we could see, considering we've got this game against Wolves 2 days later. So I feel like we should jump into the lineups straight away. Ludwig, talk us through your team, mate.
So I'm just going with our current strongest team, which feels strange saying that without having Emil Smith Rowe in the team. But I just think Martinelli he's been so good. So I don't see us keeping him out. And Odegaard he just makes everything tick. And the thing about this team, why I also picked this team, is because we have the Wolves game, but just after the Wolves game, we also have Man City at home. And it's going to be a tough one, but I really think that's one we can go for. I mean, we've been strong at home. We've been doing really well at home. And if we want to end top 4, we have to take points off of these teams. So I want to play this team, maybe rotate a bit for the Wolves game, and then play this team again versus City. So I'm looking to that City game because I think that's going to be a tough one. But I think with these players, I think with Lacazette playing the way he's playing, I enjoy having a striker that actually plays with the ball. He doesn't only look to finish or just to get a chance on goal. He actually plays with the rest of the team. It's not like Oba who just waits for the chance or waits for someone else to create for him. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the way Lacazette plays with the rest of the team, especially how he's playing with these with these youngsters. So yeah, that's why I selected this team.
Zamir, I think we've got up next. Talk us through your selection, mate.
Yeah, I've gone with pretty much the same lineup, barring one change. I've brought in Holding for Ben White, and for the simple reason that I felt Ben White was getting tired during the Leeds game, and then he played against Sunderland. I do think he needs a break, and before we go play Wolves and then play Man City, this would be a good game just for him to sit out for now. So that's why I've left him out, and I don't think this is as big of a downgrade as people would make it out to be. So for me, I want to kill the game early, so that's why I have this lineup out there. I think Odegaard pulling the strings again, like I said, Saka rested against Sunderland. They should be up at it and back to form, hopefully scoring a couple of goals and killing this game early. And then the midfield, Xhaka, Partey, Odegaard. I feel they're starting to build some chemistry between themselves, and I don't want to mess with consistency. As long as we have the ability to put this lineup out there, we should.
Let's finally go then to Rohit's team, who's made a couple of changes as well, which is great to see. Talk us through it, mate.
Pretty similar to what Zamir has put up. I have taken some steel out of our defense, primarily because I think we should be able to deal with Norwich, a team that really scores only 8 goals in 16, 17 games, I suppose.
Well, they're scoring, aren't they?
And yeah, against us, maybe they are. And if Holding and Gabriel, along with maybe Tavares and Tomiyasu, if he plays, are able to kind of control Pukki and Cantwell, I think we should be fine. I do see them scoring, mainly because I've taken some seal out of the defense, like I said. But like Zamir said, we really need to kill the game early. Maybe if we are good around 60 minutes, if we are 2-0, 3-0 up, I think I would bring in changes and make all 3 changes, maybe even before 70 minutes. But of course, depends on how the game goes. But I think this team should be good enough to see out basically a weakened Norwich team, and I think 3 points are ours.
Yeah, the fact that the team is weakened is kind of why I've made the number of changes I have. There is also the African Cup of Nations element to put into this. Partey at the moment, I mean, Ghana and Arsenal are in discussions about Partey staying for the Wolves game, but if that wasn't, say, to be granted, obviously Partey staying in this. The reason why I've gone for El Neni and Pepe, again, the African Cup of Nations side of things, whilst we've got them, I feel like we can give Saka that rest, bring Saka in for the game against Wolves, bring Xhaka or Lokonga in for the game against Wolves as well. So I feel like that's why I've made those additions, because whilst we've got them and we've got these kind of big games coming through and in such thick and fast of a nature that they are, use the players you've got while you've got, and then you can change out for Saka and bring Odegaard back in and Xhaka and etc. So that's why I've gone for that. I swapped out Holding because I feel like you can play one of each of Holding or Gabriel and White, and then you can alternate between them for the next game. Tavares and Tierney, bring Tavares in for this game and bring Tierney in for the tougher game against Wolves, where they've got a lot more kind of verve in their attack with all the players at their disposal that they can use, and I feel Tierney would be better defensively in that game. Odegaard, as I say, has been fantastic, but Smith Rowe, just bringing him in, so Odegaard kind of a bit of a breast again and coming against 2 days later against Wolves in that fixture. But it's almost impossible, Ludwig, isn't it, to kind of pick a team for this, because the amount of rotation that's going to be needed across the next 48 hours is tricky. And I don't think that, if we saw a weakened side, I don't think I could be really too critical of Arteta for making heavy changes, considering what we've got coming up.
Yes, like I said earlier, I don't like this congestion, especially this matched up with the AFCON in next January. I don't know why they can't improve the schedule. But yeah, it's a bit difficult. At least we do have the problem of we can play Smith Rowe. We don't know where to put Smith Rowe in this team, so we have the option to just swap him out with Odegaard or with even Saka or Martinelli. He can play any of those positions. He's been doing great. So the problem comes in, I don't know if Niles and Lokonga is fit. I don't know how fit they are, if they're ready to play. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind playing them. I think Niles played a really good game just before he stopped playing. And then Lukonga's also been doing good this season. So there's quite a few changes we can make. The other thing that I don't have a problem with is actually playing Holding, or maybe even Chambers, because this more for other reasons. But Newcastle will be looking to sign a centre back, and if one of those two guys can put in a good game and put them on Newcastle's radar, because we do need to offload some of those guys, because we have quite a few centre backs currently, and we have Saliba coming back. So I wouldn't mind offloading all Chambers or Holding to Newcastle and get a bit of that British tax that we always have to pay.
Yeah. I mean, we say that, but I mean, the players that we've let go of, even with the British tax, has not always gone in the most longest ways. But we have seen players like Iwobi move for ridiculous fees. I think Willock going for 25 mil looks to be a great deal for us as well. So who knows? Maybe Holding can get us a pretty penny.
Yeah, I hope so. And the now I forgot his name. The guy who sold to Newcastle. Willock.
Willock, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gone that long.
I just forgot his name. Yeah, I can remember we had quite a few arguments like, do we sell him? Don't we sell him? Is it going to be another Canary thing? And currently it doesn't look like it. He's been struggling. He's been struggling a lot. And the Iwobi thing, that was daylight robbery. I don't know how we sold him for that much, but he was a good player, but he wasn't that good.
Iwobi and Oxlade-Chamberlain we let go for 38 odd million quid as well, which I mean,
Yeah,
when you consider that we got, I think it adds up to 100 million for Willock, Iwobi and Oxlade-Chamberlain. That's good business by Arsenal, you'd have to
Maybe
say.
we did get the British tax for those three guys.
Yeah, I think we might have done. People forget about Ox and how much we got for him. So there you go. A massive thank you to Vinny in the chat box. Merry Jacquemus. He says, treat yourself to a drink or two, Tom. Been a tough year for me. I know it has, mate, but you've had all of our backing as well from the TGT community. And he says there, has really helped me through it. Love you all. Merry Jacquemus indeed. Let's wish Vinny a Merry Jacquemus in the chat box. Zamir, in regards to kind of the Aubameyang situation, which continues to be an underlying narrative in this, Lacazette could be our only striker come some point in January, because Balogun can leave on loan. There are a few clubs that are interested in Nketiah and could look to come in with a bids, and Aubameyang will be off at the AFCON anyway, but could also leave. How do you feel about the striking situation? How do we manage with so many fixtures having just one striker available, and how do you think we can rotate?
Yeah, I mean, knowing Arteta, we could just put Smith Rowe as a false nine and we're good. But no, I think the club has to have a plan in place, Tom. I don't think we're going to be left with just Lacazette as our lone striker. They know Aubameyang's going, and Nketiah might leave. Balogun needs a loan, as everyone in the chat and the Discord keeps pointing out. But I know you're not a fan, but there's an option of playing Martinelli at the number 9 as well. So I think the club has multiple options in place, and this is me giving them a ton of credit. And I think it just comes down to which scenario ends up playing out in January. I think Arteta's already said it's a short window, so there might not be a lot of movement, but whatever they decide on is for the betterment of the club is what they will pursue. And so far as it comes to the transfers, they've always held true to that philosophy. So I do trust them to pursue the same philosophy in January. So if we have 2 strikers leaving, I do see us going out and splashing cash on somebody to bring in.
I mean, Rohit, regarding kind of the midfield as well, we're going to be without Partey and El Neni. Maitland-Niles today has been linked with a move to Roma, which we'll discuss more on the 8 a.m. show on Boxing Day. But we could be left rather thin in the middle, and we could be left with just Xhaka and Lokonga as our only real options with the African Cup of Nations. Do you think it's imperative that Arsenal go out in January and sign someone either on loan or permanently in midfield?
First of all, I think it's great that we still have Partey, and I think there was a news going around that he's already off. But with only Mainsley, if we do, I would keep Mainsley till the end of the season if you can. And I would really like to have a fit Lokonga. plus Zaka, if he kind of can keep himself away from all the red cards, we would still be very light, uh, especially if El Neni and Paris teams do progress into further rounds. I would be very, very tempted to maybe seek out a loan. We have seen with Edu before that he is a believer in short-term loans, 6 months, 5-month loans if possible. So if we can get a quality player who can maybe fill in the gap, not for too long, maybe give us good 8-10 games till the end of the season. That will be great. That will be great for us, because I do not want to make any subpar signings right now, especially looking at the kind of signings we did in the summer. The next crop of signings has to be the equal or actually better than the last 5-6. So a loan is the best option. I do not see us splashing any cash, especially with a big risk of going behind closed doors again, basically losing the revenue through fans. That can happen very soon, maybe in January itself. So a loan looks good to me, but I would really be looking forward to somebody who can give good contribution across 8-10 games, and then maybe go out in summer and sign somebody real strong.
Yeah, look, I think it's always the biggest thing with January is balance, and how you balance what you need to bring in and what it's going to affect with regards to kind of your long terminology of signings. If you sign someone in January that say your plan C or D, and it means you could have maybe signed plan or A or B in the summer, but you didn't because you needed to bring someone in earlier, when actually the option may have been there to say bring someone in for a 6-month loan just to tie you over until the summer and then go for your main target. Then it's about finding that balance, and we got to hope that Edu continues his good form in the market and steers us through a really tricky period with those signings. Ludwig, go on. I feel like you want to jump in there.
So we it's not a position I would like. I like him when he plays there, but we can also play Odegaard a bit further back. And we can also play a system where we play 4-1-2, where we play a single defensive midfielder with Emil Smith Rowe and Odegaard in front of him. But we can't do that against the top team. We can only do that against the weaker teams. So maybe just for rotation in that AFCON period. But I would rather let us get a loan or something.
Come on, slam him down.
We can't. No, we can. I mean, just look at how we played against Sunderland with that formation, and we played that single DM, and we were just exposed.
That single DM was El Neni, though, Zamir. To be fair,
it's not much better, Tom. I mean, we did that against Man City, for God's sakes. It got smacked by 5. We just don't mess with it. Like, if we want, get somebody on loan. I was putting in the chat box, someone like Wijnaldum. It's not gone well for him at PSG. Get him on a 6-month loan. Get him off his books. Be good experience running in midfield, good balance, good leadership. I think all the qualities of somebody that could fill the gap for 6 months rather than a permanent signing. Rather than leaving us exposed. I mean, I do not want to see that 1 DM formation unless we have 3 world-class players there, like Rodri and Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne.
Fair enough. I'm a little bit pressed for time, so I need to jump through to predictions. Before we do though, Sam, thank you again so much, mate, in the chat box. Thanks for the Y Scout advice. Yeah, Sam is a Y Scout convert now. DMing me earlier about how and whether or not should be using it. I mean, for those that do want to know more about Y Scout, it's a brilliant kind of tool in which you can get loads of statistical analysis on players and stuff. They don't sponsor me. They should, because it's quite expensive to use. But thank you, Sam, for the donation. Really appreciate it. This TG2 community is a gift that keeps on giving. Thank you and happy holidays. Let's make some new memories together in the new year. Absolutely. This channel is going to continue. It's not going anywhere. And the Discord server, as these 3 lads can attest to, is a brilliant place to be, with 24/7 discussion going on all the time. Right, Ludwig, give me your scoreline, please, for the game.
So I think we can beat them 2-0. I don't think we'll let a goal go in. Our defense has been looking pretty solid, and even when they don't, Ramsdale is a brick wall in front of that goal. So yeah, I think 2-0, 2 goals, probably 1 from Martinelli and 1 from Smith Rowe off the bench again. Let him pass Ronaldo's current tally.
I mean, the fact that he's there without scoring a penalty is impressive anyway. So that's
Yeah, it
just
is.
keep scoring. Keep
I'm just
scoring.
going to make the controversial. I'm just going to have the controversial opinion. Smith Rowe is better than Ronaldo.
Oh, I love that. Zamir,
Just to
score one?
irritate Sasha.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with 4-1 to the Arsenal, and then with the always the weird prediction of Ramsdale scoring. It's happening.
It'll
Ramsdale's
happen
gonna score.
eventually. We will will it into existence, is what we will do. Rohit.
I'm going to go with 3-1, mainly because I have put in Holding and Tavares there, so I think they will be able to score one, maybe a one goal from Pookie or Cantwell. And I think it will be a good time to actually get to improve on our away form, because our away form has been horrible. We are currently at -7 goal difference in our away matches. So it'll be a good time to actually kind of do some stat padding and make our stats look good. For Arsenal, I see goals coming from Laka, Martinelli, and Odegaard.
Nice stuff. I'm going to go for... It's impossible to know what team we're going to play, but I'm going to be positive and say 3-0 and say that Lacazette will get on the score sheet and Smith Rowe and Martinelli to pop up with a goal each as well. Jason going for 2-0 in the chat box. Harvey says 5-0. Elliot says 1-0 Norwich. What's this negativity? Not appreciating that. IAF says 3-0. Hoping these are to the Arsenal, of course. Arsenal Granny says 3-1 for Arsenal. Peter says 2-0. Arsenal Martinelli Saka on the score sheet. Daniel says 3-0. Erdegaard hat-trick. Xhaka to get sent off after thinking it's boxing match on Boxing Day, punching Pookie. Bernard says 3-1. Tom says 3-0 to the Arsenal. Social says 3-0 to the Arsenal. Wesley 3-1 Arsenal. Jonathan says 3-0 Gabriel, Gabby and Laka on the score sheet. Gary Griffin going, I think it'll be 2-0 to the Arsenal. Viraj going 3-0. Matt going 3-0 as well. Byron 2-0 to the Arsenal. But I mean, the funny thing is, the more this show has grown, I realised how many predictions I have to read out during these preview shows. Paul 4-0 to the Arsenal. Oh, I'm going for 3-0. 3-1 for Shaquille in the chat box there. Rancid going for 2-0 Arsenal, Odegaard and Martinelli, and a fair few more predictions from you guys in the chat box as well. So this is why you got to be quick with your predictions. When I ask for them in the chat, you got to get them in fast because we can't read all of them. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in as always. Please do show my panel a fantastic bit of love in the chat box and wish them Merry Christmas. Ludwig, thank you so much, mate. Merry Christmas, and thank you for coming on, fella. You're muted. Can't hear you. Try that again.
It's been fun. I would like to wish everyone who's watching a Merry Christmas and everyone who's not, except for Tottenham fans. Other than that, goodbye and enjoy.
Lovely stuff. Zamir, Merry Christmas, mate. Thank you for coming on as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Tom. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Take some time to relax, recharge. It's been a tough year, and we'll have a better year next year.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Rohit, finally a Merry Christmas to yourself. Have a fantastic day, and thank you for coming on, mate.
To you as well, and to the panel, to all the members and the viewers. One thing, Norwich did beat us last in 2012, so I hope they do not spoil Boxing Day for us. And of course, like I said in the beginning, may your hearts be filled with peace and joy, and may your lungs be filled with anything but a virus. So yeah,
absolutely.
Take care.
Absolutely. Do stay safe this festive time of year, people, and just do everything you can to keep yourself and your family safe too. Have a fantastic day tomorrow, and we'll be back, of course, on Boxing Day for the 8 a.m. show, and then at 9 o'clock for the reaction to the Norwich City game as well. Make sure you follow us over on Twitter at the Gooner Talk TV. We're only about 50 followers or so away from 20,000, so do give us a follow over there if you're not already. We're on our way to 29,000 subs over on here, and thank you so much for being part of this journey, and thank you to those that have dropped in those donations in the chat. That's really kind of you as well. Have a fantastic day, as I keep saying, and as always, up the Arsenal and Merry Christmas.